players. They are ready to battle it out. Our first match will be Blue-Black Doomsday from Streaksu against Red Prison from Nomgoose. So I think
Yes.
the players have resolved the mulligans.
Yep.
Do you have any
It
favorites
looks
in this matchup?
so. I'm very partial to Doomsday. I really enjoy the deck. Streaksu is doing some really interesting stuff with his variant of the deck. He's playing a single copy of Quantum Riddler in the deck, which is a breakout card from Edge of Eternities. But yeah, that's my thoughts. It looks like Nomgoose is starting off with a very quick 3-drop on turn 1, as Prison is known for doing. It looks like it is a Magus of the Moon.
Okay, we have the Force of Will.
Yes.
Doomsday only playing usually 2 basics in this list. We have Basic Island, Basic Swamp. Has a really hard time like playing around the Magus of the Moon in the early game. Also, by shutting off the Magus, the next land drop will kill the City of Traitors from Nomgoose's side. So
Absolutely. Streaksu has a Flooded Strand and a pass. Looks like we're playing another 3-drop here. Oh, Urza Saga trigger. Sack the city.
Can get up to 4 mana here.
May have a 1-ring here. Yep.
1 ring going online.
Yes. Wondering if we have the days here. We're fetching, going to 18. On the Doomsday player's side, a days here would be very strong.
For sure, but you are kind of happy if you can see the Moon Stompy player going for the like slower play, not pressing your life total, because the One Ring itself, it does not interact with you. So if you have the cards that you want, you can just go and win next turn without any interaction from the red player.
Yep. Streaksu brainstorming here in response. Looking like we're trying to pick up a counterspell here.
Or just Dark Ritual Doomsday.
That is possible.
Also, one of the notes is the Quantum Whittler. The nice aspect of it is it replaced the old tech where you can just play the Quantum Whittler if you have 0 cards in hand with your Doomstack resolved, and it can win you on the spot with some backup protection at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's like we replayed the Underground Sea and Past here. We had that daze to prevent Nomgoose from trying to draw back into the game. Soul Guide Lantern, right now Nomgoose, I believe 2 cards in hand, so that 1 ring was really important to try to get him back in.
Yeah. Okay. So they are looking for mana. They can probably not make use of the Ursa Saga here, except with the Spirit Guide.
Mm-hmm. Looks like we're floating mana here. Yep.
Yes. So
Wonder
do you
what
think
we're
it will be
fetching.
just a Cormox to get up to the critical 3 mana this turn to have any? Yes.
Yep.
Indeed.
We have hopefully playing another 3-drop here. If Streaksu has another daze, that would be unfortunate, but it looks like Streaksu is also kind of stumbling on mana, so we
Yes,
replayed the Underground Sea and we missed land drop last turn.
If I remember correctly, we also did not have a shuffle effect, so we are brainstorm locked.
Yes.
Spell Pierce. Ooh.
Spell Pierce on the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. We've got a lot of interaction here.
That is very good for Streak. So you can buy yourself a little bit more time to get past.
Here we go, Dark Ritual Doomsday. So for anybody who's never seen this deck in action, what Doomsday does is it allows the Doomsday player to first half their life total, well, at the end of the resolution of the spell, right? Then they search their graveyard and their library combined for 5 cards. Those 5 cards are placed back into the deck in any order. And then their opponent has the option of like looking through their graveyard and their exile to try to find out, you know, what kind of pile, what kind of 5 cards the Doomsday player is going for. Given the kind of lack of interaction from Nomgoose's side, I think that this may be a quick, like a turbo pile. I see Tensai in the chat. Shout outs to Tensai.
Hi, one of our invitational champions himself. Very nice to see. Yes, so with Blood Moon, with the Red Zombie deck, currently mostly playing Moon effects and no Sphere effects anymore, you can expect to go for a very fast pile. So Nomgoose only having one card, then you need another land and also a Blood Moon effect. Could be pretty safe to just go for 3 cyclers. Now I have to see, depending on what you have in your hand for the last card. If it's a land, you can just go cycle into Oracle. Or you
Yes.
could try to do just the brainstorm pile, but then a chalice would shut down your win condition here. So 2 mana, if you want to go for the chalice loss, then you can do the brainstorm pile. Otherwise, you have to play without the Quantum Whittler a little bit into a 2-turn pile.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because
Looks like we have
shutting
one.
down LED.
Yeah. Looks like we have one Thoracle in the pile. I believe that any kind of mana denial here may cause some significant difficulty for the Doomsday player, right? So if we have a Blood Moon, a land into a Blood Moon, this could nullify the pile.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So,
What do you think?
so looking at our table spotters, there's no LED in the pile. There's only 2 Dazes and 2 Streetways in the exile pile, 3 Force of Wills in exile, so there should be one more Force of Will available for
Yes.
streaksu.
There's the Lion's Eye Diamond.
Okay. We have the Edge cracking LED
Yep, we're
holding response.
holding priority. Yep.
Okay,
We have the
there
Force of
was
Will backup too for the Blood Moon effect.
exactly. Then there will be a consider probably going for
Yep.
the last card that is milled.
Yep.
That was Cabal
Cleothas's
Ritual?
Oracle.
I think so, yes.
It looked like Cabal Ritual or maybe a Thoughtseize. So I
Perfect.
could see, Thoughtseize, Sack Edge of Autumn, hold priority LED if we had to go for a slower turn.
Yeah. So here we see the Moon Zombie player having 3 cards that put pressure on the table, the Doomsday player having 3 answers, and then they can just go for the combo and resolve it. So if we look at sideboards, what do we want to see from the Stompy player? I guess Disruptor Flute is a pretty good card in this matchup. Do you see anything else that you would like to bring in?
Disruptor Flute is the only card that really stands out to me. I don't believe that there's anything else in the list. Maybe put the Pithing Needle in there to stop, some of those fetch
Cyclops.
lands or those activated ability lines, right? If I remember correctly, Pithing Needle can not stop mana abilities, so it won't stop the Lion's Eye Diamond aspect of it. But
Very
yeah, I think
true.
that the only card that I would want to definitely see here is the Disruptor Flutes. That's kind of the strongest card here.
I think the Soul Guide Lantern could exchange the Pithing Needle. That can be a redraw, but also the Pithing Needle if you have Urza Saga and you know they are going for their Doomsday, like post Doomsday, you know what is in exile, what can you name, you just ask them what's in your exile pile. Yeah, seems pretty straightforward. I guess we are taking out the Furies here.
Yeah. Now, as a Doomsday player, what are the cards that you like to board in against Prison in this kind of a sideboard? I mean, the Blue Blasts and the Force of Negations, I think, are kind of non-negotiables, right?
Pretty much, yes. So the blue blasts are easy pickings. You can consider playing Jace World of Mysteries, but I think that's usually for different matchups. The Force of Negation also not very good against Magus of the Moon or most of the threats, but still I think those are the best cards. I would not bring in Duress too much because Chalice is a card that you have to play around, and you want to keep up the blue count. So, what do we cut from the deck? I guess maybe some amount of Street Wave, maybe a personal tutor and an edge, just trying to go for a very good mulligan hand, having more interaction and not needing to personal tutor, wait a turn, discarding it, like losing a card with a card disadvantage from the personal tutor. That might be one of the ways to go about in this matchup.
Definitely.
But yeah, I also play Doomsday, but I haven't played the like very straightforward like turbo Doomsday list like this. There's no creatures in the sideboard, no barrowglyphs, nothing like this, which is also something that you see people pivoting into recently a lot, because turn one barrowglyph is very hard to beat for like blue black tempo, any of the fair decks that bought out their removal. So here we just stay on the tempo plan, and you just have to pray that you get there.
Yep. Absolutely. Looks like our players are almost done sideboarding here. It looks like Nomgoose maybe has drawn his opening hand. I think keeping a 7.
Check with our
Very
table spotters.
convincing. Yes. Very convincing game one from streaksu. Streaksu at the last Invitational also played. Both of these players were on different decks last time around. Streaksu, he would say that he made the mistake of bringing Esper Stoneblade to the last event. And Nomgoose actually took 4th place at the last Invitational with a red-black Turbo Reanimator list. So really neat to see these players on some of their more frequently seen respective deck lists.
Yes, but Esper Stoneblade, I think, has a very special place in a lot of the players' hearts. Also, like, but viewers just love the deck because it brings back memories from back in the day when Stoneforge was a very good tempo play, and I always love to see it. I've played Stoneforge, like Esper Stoneforge myself, and surprisingly getting good results with it, but the deck is just too slow for the current meta, I think. So, very good deck choices in our current meta here with Prison and Blue Black Doomsday.
For sure. Looks like streaksu on a mulligan, I think to 6 right now. See if he has to go down any further. That extra draw makes it more tempting to keep Force of Will in your opening hand, which I think that turn 0 interaction against Prison really is incredibly important. We are going to 5. We are fishing for it.
So the problem is, if you go down to 5, you reduce the amount of interaction that you can bring. Also, if there's a chalice on one and you just have your 1-drops, you are kind of... So this is a hard spot for Streaksu here. Also, that's at the same time, you have a lot of problem cards that you can present turn 1 on Mongoose's side. So do you think there's a favorite for this round already?
I do think that Red Prison is significantly stronger when it has to deal with less potential for Force of Will in its opponent's opening hand. So the more mulligans that the opposing deck takes, the more apt Prison will be to stick a 3-drop or a 4-drop and then just kind of run away with the game from there. So, like, if we can get a Broadside Bombardiers here, or really anything to stick on turn 1, then streaksu is going to be very far behind.
Okay, we just got in some news from the other matches. So we have Imanji took game 1 versus Smalls. So
Awesome.
the other matches are going down. Finally, Deep Sea wins game 1 versus Steph. So those matchups, let me check up. Deep Sea is on green-white depths, playing against Steph on blue-black tempo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Awesome.
We have the players starting Force of Negation on Blood Moon, turn 1. And we have Basic Island, Ponder from Streaksu. So we dodged the first bullet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shuffling away the ponder though, never something that we want to see, right? And early, after the mulligans, shuffling those two cards that you put to the bottom back into the deck
Yes.
can be a little
But
rough.
they did not um, fetch for the basic island. So you could think about keeping the Force of Negation for the next threat and just play with your Ponder basic island.
Oh,
5
certainly.
mana.
Have a lot of Ancient Tomb action going on here. Broadside Bombardiers, one of
Yes.
the faster clocks for Prison.
One of the upsides in this matchup is Nomgoose does not need to worry about his life total. So, okay.
That is true. Yes, streaksu is playing ABC Doomsday, right? Where it's just very committed to the combo and doesn't really have a pivot plan.
Yes. We haven't really looked at Fatal Push in this. Do you think you bring in the Fatal Push too to get rid of Magus of the Moon? Because if it's not there turn one, you could fetch, float black, kill the Magus, remove the annoying creatures.
Yeah, I mean, you remove every threat in the deck except for Fury, right? You can remove a flipped Fable, Broadside, Magus, Pyrogoyf even. You can remove the Simian Spirit Guide if Red Prison does the last ditch, effort, cast the 3 mana 2/2, with no other effects,
I mean, when Red Stompy starts hard casting Simon Spirit Guides, we entered garbage town because there's nothing else that you can do. So we have the One Ring resolved on Nomgoose's side. Streaksu fetching, probably going for the Surveillant because you did not find what you want to have right now. But going down to 15 life with a board side being able to throw the One Ring, that's up to 8 damage next turn. So there's
Mhm.
just no way that you can go past the turn pile.
Yep. You just can't put yourself into that red zone there. So if you're going to do a pile, it has to just win the game immediately.
Exactly. Okay, forceful. Like, we are done doing reaction. There's too much pressure on the board. We can't fight against the card advantage engine, so we need to do something proactive.
Mm-hmm. Lotus Petal, pass. The unfortunate, again, the downside of mulliganing to 5 is that sometimes you just don't have enough action in your hand, right? So,
For sure. But the upside
Jason.
being with Streaksu, he's up one game. Next game, he can mulligan again from 7, being on the play, and always having the option to just going for a turn 1 win when you know your opponent does not have a lot of free interaction, except for Sim Spirit Guide and a blast. But I think there were no blasts in the Moonstompy deck list.
Yeah, I don't think
So
so. It's like we're
there is not.
spending 5 here, maybe a Pyrogoyf with 1 colorless floating. Yep. This Pyrogoyf, I believe the card types in graveyard are instant sorcery land right now. So Pyrogoyf being a 3/4, that is a significant chunk of damage.
Goes to 11, then we can attack for 2 again and throwing the Pyrogorth for
Yep.
6 if you want to, but they did not.
Yeah, we're cycling the Street Wraith, go to 13.
And
Daze it. We do still have the colorless floating, but yeah,
no.
Streaks are gonna scoop it up here. That makes sense.
Yeah, he just said, I'm so fucking dead. So I guess he did not find what he needed.
Yep. So going into game 3, I do think that the possibility of the fatal push now opens up, right? I
Yes.
think that in game 2, if you're on the draw, the fatal push is a lot weaker. But sometimes players will adjust their sideboarding slightly depending on whether they're on the play or the draw. And I think that that is a possibility here. What are your thoughts on, in this situation, if you didn't board in the fatal pushes in game 2, do you think that you would board in some number of them in game 3?
I would consider we going down on force of engage and just upping the duress right now because you are on the play. You can choose what you take. So if your opponent has the chalice, you can take the chalice and play one of the other, all of the other cards. So
That's true.
Maybe doing this swap, keeping the Hydroblast in for sure, and then maybe 1 or 2 Fatal Push. Because Daze is not the best card against Red Stompy, with them having a lot of Ancient Tomb, Spirit Guide mana. There's a lot of options that you can go about.
Definitely. As the prison player, do you make any adjustments? Oh, really quickly, Hot Springs Games in the chat asking, where is this tournament? This tournament is actually taking place entirely online over webcam on our Discord, which is 2,900 members strong. We have 8 qualified players for this invitational. We have 4 players from the United States, and we have 4 players from the European Union participating in this tournament. So everything is done over webcam.
Nice.
2,901
Welcome
now.
to the
Thank
crew, Hot
you.
Spring Games. So let's see. I think the mulligans do a big factor in this matchup here because if you are able to play turn 1 Doomsday, you still have to fear, is there Magus of the Moon? Do I have to play around that? Or is there Disruptor Flute turn 1 naming Oracle? And then by chance you just say, okay, I cannot win anymore because I don't have 5 mana even with my LED pile. Okay, we have an update. Imanji also goes 2-0 in his match over Smalls. So that's fast. That was blue-white Kuinot against blue Jewel.
Very, very fast match. I guess that the artifact hate was a little bit too much in that matchup, and the stifles, those kinds of triggered ability stops.
For sure.
Both players keeping a 7. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah, we just plotted no action from streaksu side. So maybe we just want to wait for one turn and... Oh, that's mana for a flute.
Passing here. Fetch, you are right, that is flute mana. I would imagine keeping 2 mana in this situation without doing something like play a chalice on 1 or try to charge out a 3-drop with some additional mana, that tells me, probably a disruptor flute in the hand. So who knows?
If you have a disruptor flute, do you try to go for the flute with Daze being offline while the fetch is on the stack?
So I think that if you're going to do that, I think that you actually wait to know whether or not the Doomsday player is going to try to go for like a Dark Ritual Doomsday, right? You try to put that pressure on them immediately, and you can burn a spell from their hand that way. I think that that would be an effective line. You could do it if, streaksu tries to go for it this turn, but patience wins out in these kinds of matchups, right?
Okay, we have an Ancient Tomb. streaksu yet again passes the turn, takes his time.
Potential for Chalice on 1. This is a very difficult card for Doomsday to beat.
Indeed. So in reaction, we have Brainstorm. So there's 2 ways this can go, because I think there is Cabal, Ritual, Doomsday, both of which do not care about a Chalice of the Void. So you could just put away all of your 1-drops and go for Wind Pile next turn. Or you think, I need more time? Let's go to 18 and put a Force on the stack.
Indeed.
Okay.
Thinking here. Chalice still on the stack. I think we're considering one of our Brainstorm cards. Yep. There's the second.
Thinking.
Tricky spot. Hope the hand is not full of cantrips here. It may very well be. Force of
Personal
negation.
tutor
Mhm.
seems like a fine trade because, I mean, personal tutor is not doing anything afterwards, for sure.
Right. Right. Have 4 cards in hand here. It's gone. Chalice out, so the door is a little bit more open here. I wonder if he had that chalice in his opening hand and was playing around the days there.
Okay. We liked what we put on top. So we did
Indeed.
not shuffle in response.
Yep. Fetch away one of them. Teleria Midwest saying, glad we have some Doomsday rep today. Here comes that disruptor flute.
Exactly. We were talking about that. When is the perfect time to put the flute on the stack?
Seems like right now when you have to, open yourself up to that, potentially dazing. If you have a daze, you have to bounce your Undercity Sewers, and that is just not a good card to be playing from your hand.
Honestly, the flute alone is not enough to keep you from winning with the deck because you have Cabal Ritual. Cabal Ritual, like Dark Ritual, gets you +2 mana. Cabal Ritual gets you +3 mana. So just casting a single Cabal Ritual when you go online, forcing again,
Force of Will on the
brings you
Disruptor
up to
Flute.
5 mana. But that's not relevant today. We are.
Looks like we have somebody asking if there's any good turn 1 decks in this tournament. The answer is not in this one. So this tournament is largely dominated by mid-range and tempo with some smattering of combo, control, and mid-range as well.
So I would say Doomsday if you are lucky with your draws, but
It's true.
I had something similar happen this year in a big tournament where I played a different Doomsday list, but I just got lucky twice in a row against Painter. They played turn 1 Painter 2 games in a row, and I have turn 1 Kill 2 times in a row. And that's just like the 2 to 5% that you get with the deck when they don't have interaction that you can just win for free. So there we go.
There's
Cabal
the Cabal
Ritual.
Ritual. Doomsday. Here we
Yes.
go. Taking a look. Yeah, we had Curionot versus Jewel off screen. We have Blue Black Reanimator versus Bant Nadu. We have Red Prison versus Doomsday, which is our matchup on camera right now. And then we had Blue Black Tempo versus Green White Depths was the last matchup.
So Doomsday resolves. We have one card in hand, so there's no way we can do a same turn win pile. We maybe can go for the win next turn if we play with Quantum Whittler. That's an option. Because we need to consider the needle shutting off our cyclers.
That is true. I think the Urza Saga is on 2, right? So we're fetching something with it next turn.
Very much so. So there's no Pact of Negation in the deck, but also I don't think there's any interaction at instant speed. So you just need to play around what Nomgoose can throw at you the next turn. If you see they're going for construct, you're pretty happy. Then there's less interaction to be coming. But if there's a Magus of the Moon, you only have 1 blue mana available. You need to play around that.
Definitely. I do worry that, I think that this was the only opportunity to kind of fire off the Doomsday, but I think that if we, picked if we picked like even one wrong card for the pile, it could potentially fall apart.
So there's no consider in the pile that much as you say. I guess there's a street width and maybe there's a 50-50 chance. I would rather go with the edge if you go down with cyclers to the sideboard. I don't see the Quantum Whittler. So the pile, if you play next turn, could be play Quantum Whittler. You draw 2 cards because you only have 1 card in the hand right now. One of them is an LED, one of them is a cycler. Then you cycle one of your cards, one of your lands away, playing the LED, cracking the LED, drawing 2 more cards, and then you are already down on an empty library. And then you have 1 free interaction spell that you can put there.
Awesome. Looks like Green White Depths beat Blue Black Tempo 2-0 off stream. So that is 2 of our 4 matches complete. We coming into the stream, we actually anticipated this particular matchup to be a little bit quicker, but I think there's been a little more nuance here in all of these games. So
Yes, what is our last matchup? We should have Dalibor 8998 playing Band Nadu. Dalibor might be known to a few players. He was in the finals of, I think it was the last year's or maybe 2023 Eternal Four Seasons tournament. So
oh wow.
yes, and he made quite a showing of his very interesting Doomsday list back then.
Wow. And Doombot 2-0 Dalibor in their set. So Blue Black Reanimator moving on to winners round 1. Doombot also might be known to some players as a player who top aided North America's 2023 Eternal weekend. So Smalls also top 32 last year's Eternal weekend in North America. So there are a lot of players here who are kind of very strong performance across other tournaments. And Mr. Fringe in the chat also top aided that same tournament that Doombot top aided. So it's very cool to see 2 players representing from the server in that same tournament.
Streaksu went with a double pass the turn pile. We have Pyrogolf hitting him for 3 because the Force of Negations exiling the artifacts, only having enchantment, land, and Doomsday in the yard. So okay, getting an update. Yes. Seems like Dalibor was not able to show up in time, so that match goes.
I see. That one went to Doombot. That makes sense.
Yes.
Ooh, we have Broadside Bombardiers here. This is the Threatening of Lethal. We see a Street Wraith on top, and looks like streaksu is going to scoop it up. So Red Prison moves on to the next round. 2-1 over Doomsday. So that does conclude all of our round 1 matches. I will go ahead and I will update bracket here momentarily. And while we set up round 2, we thank you for joining the stream thus far, and we will see you in a few moments.
Perfect. See you in a bit.